Hey everybody, what's up? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome to the channel. My name is Gabriella for anybody new tuning in. Alright, we're starting off with Ten of Swords. And the High Priestess. This Ten of Swords is a little bit different than in normal decks. Like this one doesn't really look like it's alluding to like someone necessarily suffering. You can feel like happy that something's over. It can even feel like a relief at this point. But it could have been difficult like leading up until this point. Like everything that was going on before this point in regard to this cycle could have been difficult. But now that the Ten of Swords is here, which feels like something has concluded, it's feeling even like a release here that's happening, where you could feel like you're being released from the cycle, and it would have been a cycle that was challenging, so it can feel relieving here. I'm also seeing the High Priestess too. I feel like you're coming out of something knowing more than you knew before in a substantial way. Like feeling more of a sense of insight. You could be feeling more connected. Could just be feeling like there's information that you've gained. Yeah, it does feel like wisdom or something like that. An understanding. Let's actually see. Let's clarify. What is this Ten of Swords about? Ten of Swords is going to symbolize the end of something, so it means that there's a conclusion, and it can be something that it really had you caught up mentally, and it can feel relieving for this to be over. So you could have been really worried about something, you could have been thinking about something a lot, you could have been experiencing anxiety about something, you could have felt like swords can also be connected with anything mental health that's going on. But I feel like you feel even more like yourself coming out of this. Okay, Ten of Swords, I'm seeing it was something stressful. To be in the Ten of Swords means that this cycle is closing out right now. Like you may not be at the very next part of this cycle, but you're at the very end of this one, which means that the next step is going to be the next part of the new cycle that you're stepping into. Could have been something that was really stressful, and you also could have had to balance and prioritize as well. But you could have felt like you had a lot going on. Feel like you had to also be strategic moving through it too. Like it could have been just mentally taxing on you, whatever that was. I'm not seeing you be in this anymore. I'm seeing this as concluding. So these are like the last moments of this, or like the last days of this, like that type of thing. Or like the last hours of it. And having the High Priestess here feels like there's a lot of valuable insight that you gained from going through that, and you can feel like more trusting of yourself, you can feel more trusting with yourself, you can feel more trusting of like your ability to sort of like self-guide, those types of things. But I do feel like you learned things by going through this. Wow. Okay. Having High Priestess and also having the Empress here, this is the Moon and this is also Venus. These are very, very feminine energies here. Like both of these energies represent like feminine figures, women, things like that. That means also too that it can be connected with Moon is going to overall be connected with like sort of your internal perspective of what's been going on, how you have been understanding things, how you've been seeing things from a place of feeling. And then having the Empress here, it can involve interpersonal relationships, it can involve your resources, it can involve your values, because Venus is connected with all of these things. Venus can be connected with work, with your finances, with values of any sort, with your tastes, your likes, your dislikes, and also your interpersonal relationships too, and your skills that you gain as you move through these things, and sort of how they're polished, it seems, moving through cycles. This can also intuitively put you more in touch with how you want to be showing up, and also what you want to be doing with your energy too. Because moon is like these insights that you gain that like maybe you don't have, like someone didn't walk up to you and tell you, but you've been getting feelings about things. That's what's going on with the moon. That's how you connect with the moon. It's by when you're tuning in sort of what's coming up for you, what you're feeling, what's going on, how you're gauging situations and how you're experiencing them. And when you tune in, it's like reviewing sort of what happened and how that leads you through. And having the Empress here, this is like all you have to offer and all you have to give. And you could feel like you're in a place now where you feel more in touch with that part of yourself. Like I feel a more clear idea of what I'm supposed to be doing, like that type of thing. But it could have been something that was challenged during this cycle where you had to figure things out. Because I was seeing what was clarifying the Ten of Swords was Ten of Wands, which is going to be whatever it was feeling heavy. It could have been feeling stressful. It could have been feeling overwhelming. You could have been like, I don't know how much longer I can do that, but there is a sense of conclusion within it. But you could have felt like you were pushed to your limits. And then I was also seeing the King of Swords coming out as well. And that's needing to figure things out by really like strategically working through something and flexing your mental capacity as well and your mental engagement in the cycle. So it could have had you being like very, very engaged and very involved, but in a stressful way, in a way where there was a lot of pressure of you needing to figure things out and resolve them and be ready to problem solve and also to take action too, because it's King of Swords is a masculine energy. There will be places where you had been required to step up in order to close out the cycle. So you needed to not only figure things out, but then put them into action, like apply them. Having Ten of Swords, it feels like now you're at the end of this. So I'm not seeing you be in the middle of this cycle anymore. It means that it's concluding now. And I'm seeing as you're coming out of this, you're feeling more like yourself. Like you could have even felt before like something was sort of wrapped over you. And this is a piece of the cycle that's feeling like a shedding. Like taking a layer off is what this is feeling like. And having the High Priestess here, this is like all of the insights, connections, understandings that you've gained going through this. And then also having the Empress here too feels like a readiness. It also feels like an acknowledgement of what you want to give as well, which is connected with Venus. Moon, Venus, and Mercury. It looks like you're dreaming something up here. I'm also seeing Ace of Cups, so here is that new chapter that you're stepping into. But I'm seeing it be at sort of the end of this spread here. I do keep seeing the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck, so you can feel sort of like the universe is tossing and turning you a bit, where it's like, okay, now go over here, and then you get like yanked in another direction. You can feel like those types of things are going on. High Priestess feels like tuning in, and maybe also too, now that whatever situation you were in is coming to a close, you feel like you can actually tune in maybe a more relaxed setting where things aren't so hyped up anymore because of closing this out. So you can feel like you're in a space where you're like, okay, now without all of the pressure, I can sort of quiet things around me and tune into what I'm receiving. The Empress feels like now what you're going to do with all of this, like what did you just experience and how is that going to be useful to like what you're doing now and where you're going? Like how is that going to be applied? Now having the Magician come out here shows that there's an intention that's developing. So when it comes to High Priestess, this is I'm listening. The Empress is I'm recognizing what I can do, and then the Magician is like, and what I plan to become of what I'm going to be doing. Like I know that I have a skill to do like whatever your skill is, whatever your skills are. The Empress is going to be a recognition of that. I have an ability to be very loving, to do service, to give guidance, like whatever this is that you're tapping into here that feels special to you and unique to you, and all of the things that are, but maybe more so what's relevant to what's going on right here. The Magician is then like, what am I going to then do with it? If I know that I have a skill of being able to like paint, what am I going to paint then? You know, like with my skill that I have, which is the Empress, Magician is going to be like, what is my intention? What do I want to do with that then? What do I want to create with that? What do I want to make with that? And having Moon and Venus and Mercury here, these are all very creative energies as well. So it feels like immersing yourself in this cycle. And having the Ace of Cups here feels like something that's going to feel very happy for you. Seeing an Ace of Cups, something that's going to feel very happy for you, that you feel very connected with, that connects with a very pure place within you. But it feels like that last cycle needed to strip you down so that part of you could connect with this Ace of Cups that's now coming towards you. Because before, with that extra layer that you had on, you could have felt like this Ace of Cups would have missed you, or it wouldn't have been able to connect, or it wouldn't have resonated, or something like that. But now I'm seeing that the cycle, even though it could have felt like surrendering in some way, shedding definitely is what I'm getting from this. Now that that thing is shed, it feels like it opens up the part of you that's going to connect with this Ace of Cups that's coming through for you. Like, and I'm seeing you definitely be more in touch with yourself, but it could have been going through a process that was painful, that was difficult, that was stressful, those types of things. So that's where I'm seeing you be now. This kind of feels like complete in and of itself. Let me just see if anything else pops out. I'm going to use a different deck. So this was all preparing you, all of it. Maybe before you were feeling out of touch as well. And this type of intensity was something that sort of locked you back in. Been thinking about like who you're spending time with, how you're spending your time, who you're connecting with, what you're connecting with. I feel like there's more of a push for you right now to be going in a direction where you feel there's a sense of like mutual connection and mutual support. And maybe there's also a review that's going on right now. I'm seeing Hermit and Three of Cups. This can be you like being more mindful of like who you're spending time with, of where you're spending time, of who and what you're connecting with, those types of things. But from sort of the motivating factor being it being like a mutual thing that you're feeling. So instead of going places repeatedly that you feel like are constantly draining you, or you're giving too much, or you feel like things are being taken from you, or whatever your narrative is about it, this feels like being more mindful of how you're spending your cups energy. Your cups energy is going to be like how you're connecting emotionally, how you're connecting when it comes to feelings, and it has to do with all of the emotions that are connected with that have to do with like sympathy and compassion and love, and I guess like really everything else too. But for some of you, you could have found yourself in situations that felt like unequal in some way. And something may have happened that sort of taught you or is teaching you about the value of like a mutual sense of connection. That doesn't mean like you hand somebody something and they have to hand it right back. It means that it becomes a relationship that's able to sustain itself rather than feeling like things are always out of balance. So there can be more of a focus on that, and that can be something presently that you're looking more into now, where you're like, instead of just saying yes to something, tuning into yourself and how you feel and whether or not that's something that you want to do, whether or not that's something that's really going to align with your values. This feels like more so on a side of emotional values more than anything. Expectations are part of our values as well, our value systems. It's like, what will make interactions worth it to you, or what will make you feel like I shouldn't have done that, or I wish that I would have done this instead, or I wish that I would have thought about myself instead here. Those types of things. There can also be stuff about boundaries that's coming up as well. Some of you, this is happening within your close relationships. Some of you, your partnerships, or just people that you have like one-on-one dynamics with can be a focus on that. And I'm seeing there's also, it feels like it's coming into play, or there's something that's mixing also with your responsibilities and the things that you have going on that you're personally sort of taking care of and tending to. All right. We're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.